Kia ora and welcome back to Caddy Bach NZ. I'm PJ Campbell and joining me as usual is Mr. Dion Ratahi. Kia ora, bro.
Kia ora, bro.
What's up, man? How you been?
Yeah, good.
Yeah?
Loving level 3, not.
Oh, well, welcome to level 3, Waikato too.
Yeah,
welcome back.
Thanks for joining the 4-ball. We've got a 3-ball now. Waikato, Rags, and all.
Yep.
Just need one more 4-ball.
All right. Our next guest needs no introduction, really. She won the Volvic World Long Drive Championship title in 2006, 2016, and 2018. She holds a female world record for the longest ball in World Long Drive women's competition. We'll get to that later. She also got a massive shout out in 2021 Queen's Birthday Honours and was appointed a member of the New Zealand Order of Merit for services to sport, particularly golf. Phillis Meti. Kia ora.
Kia ora.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us on Caddy Bach, sis.
Hey, thanks for having me. It's cool to be able to share the story.
It's COVID. What have you been up to? What have you been able to do? Can you do anything?
Well, in 2019, at the end of the year, I came home for Christmas to visit my family and decided to stay for the summer. Got into Wakama and all things summer that Kiwis do.
Yep.
And I was getting ready to go back to the United States in March, and New Zealand went into lockdown level 4. And so during that time of going into lockdown level 4, the Golf Channel had basically canned or cancelled our season.
Yep.
And, so no competing in 2020, but it gave me a good opportunity to reflect on a few things and hopefully try to not make an impact, but do things a little bit differently in the golfing industry here.
Yep.
And, make use of myself here while I have a platform.
Yeah.
So COVID kind of opened up that decision making a little bit early for you, or because was this always something that you were going to apply to your journey?
This is something that I wanted to do. Yeah. Maybe not in this order, but this is definitely something that I wanted to do. Go back into New Zealand golf industry.
Yep.
Whatever it was, work at a golf club, just get a bit more insight. Ultimately, what I want to do later on down the track is focus on golfing operations.
Yep.
We get that. Yeah.
Yeah, golf is my passion. I love facilitating the game.
Yep.
For everybody, including our own. And,
nice.
I just took this opportunity to further upskill with the PGA of New Zealand, understand the industry from that perspective. And, here we are about a year and a half later, going into a, 18-month study period.
Yep.
Wow.
So, and by you're talking about joining the PGA traineeship, correct?
Correct. Yes.
Yep. And
I am a bridging student.
Yeah. So are you in your second year now, or?
Yeah, I've just completed my first whole year.
Yep.
I joined the PGA in August. Thankfully, they took me in as a mid-year intake.
Nice.
And I've gone a full year around the circle with the PGA and been a member and working at the Golf Warehouse in Ellerslie.
And you're coaching out of the Golf Warehouse, or is that just a position for you to hold while you do the traineeship?
I am coaching out of the Golf Warehouse in Ellerslie as well. I work part-time at the Golf Warehouse in Ellerslie, and I also work part-time at Boom Golf. And the cool thing about both of them is that I've never worked in golf retail and I've never worked in club fitting. So I think looking back, it's helped me recognize its place, both of them, their places in the industry, but also just the amount of time and respect it deserves. Club fitting is an art of its own, and golf retail is an art of its own.
Yes.
And being able to kind of delve in and get my feet wet with both of them is for me, it's quite a privilege. And then the coaching on top of that is just the icing on top, which helps. I love helping people again. I love coaching. I love sharing the game. So this gives me an opportunity to do so.
So like being more involved with the club fitting side of it and standing on the tee on a grid and just sending some monsters out there, like, has it given you a major appreciation for what they have to do to obviously put the gear together for us?
Yep. Yep. It gives me a huge respect for the guys who build my golf clubs. And thankfully, I've got a team down here in New Zealand, and I've got a team in America that help me out with that. And, for me, I understand, okay, this is what I need. This is what I want. This is the kind of weight that I'm looking for.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I took those things for granted, being a customer, if you like.
Yeah.
But now understanding general population, club fitting, and understanding what other people need, or understanding what's required to find out what other people need, I have a newfound respect for too. What I like about it though is it allows me to kind of relate myself back to the person. So I'm like, well, this person swings it this quick.
Yep.
It's actually pretty close to where I am, so I can put something similar. Their body's a bit different. Okay, let's go a little bit lighter, or let's go a little bit heavier, or their tempo's this, that, and the other. So now I've been able to piece the puzzle pieces together a little bit easier. So now I've become a little bit more efficient. But at the beginning, wow, I had no idea.
So going into, we'll stick with club fitting for now. Were you an advocate for getting people fitted before you moved into the club fitting game, or were you a little bit like, just get whatever you want to start with and then go from there? If you know what I mean? Because people are a little bit, there are people who are like, yeah, club fitting is the way to go, and there's some that are like, nah, don't worry about club fitting. What's your view on club fitting?
I've seen it work like on an elite level, where people are strictly club fitting. But then there are also people that are like, well, I don't mind, I can make this work. And they're very good players. So to me, if the option's there, I strongly recommend club fitting. It's nothing like running a marathon with shoes that don't fit. And golf is a marathon. It's a game of marathon. So why would you want to cause yourself more error if you don't have to? In saying that too, humans have the ability to adjust. So, if you have to buy a set of golf clubs off the rack, then at least get like the right length and the right lofts or lies. So then, at least it gives you half of a chance to play a good round of golf.
At least they're working with you rather than against you constantly, right?
Yeah.
Nah, nice. I just want to touch on the coaching that you do at the Golf Warehouse. What's your strategy to get clients? Like, are you one of those ones that walk up and down the range and go, I could help you. I'm gonna give you a little something, and then I want you to come back to me for more tips. Like, do you have a strategy on how you get clients? How does it work for you?
At the Golf Warehouse, we have three Golf Warehouse employed coaches. At Ellerslie, and then there are 2 independents, and then there's iGolf on the other side. Right. So I don't have that much of a strategy. I've been extremely lucky to use my platform to help, I guess, market myself. But because we've been so busy and a lot of people want to learn how to play the game, I realized really early, it's kind of in conversation, how was your range session? How did you go? And that's kind of a strategy that we were given by Reese Bishop. He says a lot of your lessons come from conversations that you have. How was it? How did it go? Because the conversation then leads into either coaching or club fitting and selling stock. And that's our goal in retail. So, I haven't really had to, but I guess I would need to if I had to walk up and down the range. How's it going? How's your practice going? Is there anything I can do to help?
No.
Because there's probably got to be so many people in those bays that need more help than that actually come out to us and go, because it can be quite daunting, right? To go up to somebody, even when you know that things aren't good. So, I mean, man, it must be so hard when you know that you've got to apply some information around them as maybe a golfer / student, then their product, and then trying to apply that fitting process, which equals a sale. Like it must be pretty challenging when you've got everything available to you at Ellerslie, right?
Yeah, this is the cool thing, I think, about being involved with the PGA and the modules that we get. There's a lot of learning, and there's so much mentoring that Reese can do without, without spending too much time with each trainee. But the cool thing is we get to study and learn how to put it all together, where club fitting helps coaching, which helps back to club fitting, and then which helps with retail, right? So being able to learn how the circle works and being able to apply it to different customers or different students. Eventually your students are going to need golf balls, tees, gloves, new grips, new shoes. And if you can hold on to them for that long, you're going to have like a customer for life. So it's a really good thing. And as you guys know, new to golf is a niche that thoroughly needs help with fulfilling. And so, that we get a lot of newbie golfers come through the driving range. I've smacked a few golf balls, but I've kind of gotten to a point where I need more help. Can you help me? And thankfully, right now, where my passion lies, that works alongside new to golf with adults. So, it's killing two birds with one stone at the moment for me.
Nice. I just want to get into traineeship. For a lot of our listeners, they know that we've put our name forward for next year's intake. Hopefully, we find out in the next few months. Hopefully,
this has got to be like episode 3 or 4 that we've mentioned it too, man. So come on now.
So if we don't get in, man, we're gonna have a bummed out episode.
Looking forward to that episode.
What is involved with the traineeship? Like, you've done your first year, you're into your second year. What is involved with the traineeship, just for our listeners?
So the cool thing about the traineeship is that you can do all of your learning modules online. You're not stuck to like one folder, one book, and you can do it basically anywhere in the country or wherever you are around the world to learn and complete your online assignments. What it is it's basically like practical learning. You're learning on the job, and you're not just learning. You're learning like with your modules, but you're also learning from your mentors and from your colleagues. So with that being said, they are able to help you become a more, I guess, worldly teaching professional or a more worldly golf professional.
Absolutely.
And multiple conversations with the PGAs. We touch on everything so that you've at least dipped your finger in the pie. So it covers club fitting, it covers retail, it covers preferences, it covers marketing, business management, research, all of the facets that are required for you to be a fully run and own business. Now, where you choose to specialize is totally up to you, but that's something that comes in after the traineeship. The one thing that I've noticed though is like with the traineeship, so for someone like me, like in my 30s, seeing a couple of things in the industry, come back, and now I know what I want to focus on. There isn't that specialization until after you finish your traineeship. So if anything, and this is a qualification, I'd look at having particular streams that go down a club fitting pathway, a retail pathway, management pathway, so on and so forth. So then you get specialization, specialty, and when you come out of your qualification or out of your traineeship, you go in as a club fitter, you go in as a club teacher, or what have you.
No, I mean, and you said you want to go down the pathway of being in operations. Has anything popped up that has kind of swayed you in another direction at all, or are you still kind of set on being like a golf operations?
I really enjoy running events.
Nice.
I love events. I love bringing people together, and I love running things. Like, I'm Islander and I run on island time, but when it comes to like running events and stuff like that, I love running events and making sure that they run on time and they're awesome.
Yeah.
So, you know, I love long drive events. I love corporate events. I love seeing new people, meeting new people, and I love just seeing the enjoyment on their face due to the labor of my work. So, yeah, events, but I think events operations covers events where you can, you know, all everyday running, daily operations of the golf club, including the events and all of the other cool social things that come with it.
All right.
You, just on that, you had a little bit of a stint in a club that I actually enjoyed playing quite a lot when I first came back into the country. So you've had a bit of a taste of the operation side of it, haven't you? So you kind of know what the demands are, what's required, and I like the fact that you're still chasing that, because it is fun. We're both in ops, but yeah, so it's good to see.
Yeah. I've worked in operations at a couple of golf clubs, and I think the one thing that I really enjoy doing is, you know, creating relationships with your members. And they're not just members. They're not just members when they've been members there for a long time, right? They end up becoming friends. So I really enjoy creating new relationships and creating friendships, and eventually, really, the club becomes a family. And when you have family, people stay together, and when they stay together, then the business thrives. So
not hard. So that was Grange, and
I worked at Aviation, and then I went to Maunga
They had the
Keke.
best pies. They had the best pies. I love the pies.
Shout out to Bo.
It was
Shout out to Bo Pucky.
I actually won some pies off him. I won some pies off him on the Instagram page the other day. That was
awesome. And then I went to Royal Auckland after Aviation. Yeah, but I did about 6 weeks at Maunga Keke.
Oh, yep.
Yeah. Yeah, it's good fun.
All right. I want to move into in what I talked about in your intro there, long drive. What got you into long drive? Or who got you into long drive?
My mum got me into long drive. She entered me into the competitions, but I'm 6 foot. I'm 6 foot tall, just under 6 foot tall, and I was a lot bigger than a lot of my friends when I was growing up, and I was able to hit the ball quite well, and I had pretty good hand-eye coordination. So, as most Kiwis do, they jump in and have a go just because. But my dad had some friends that were involved in long drive before I even started. So he was like, "Oh, you know, they're in long drive," but never thought anything of it until my mum came across a flyer, and she signed me up to one of the local qualifiers. And I'm pretty certain that one was the first one was held at Helwick.
Wow.
In 2006.
Was that going like back down the driveway and up the hill?
Yes.
Yeah. Off. It used to be the first tee, but it's now a 10th tee.
Yes. Yeah. Over the gully, up onto they had a gravel road that went down the hill. Yeah. So our first qualifier was at Helwick, and the second local qualifier to have another hit was at Formosa. Funny that, hey?
Oh, true.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how I got into it, and I went to the national championships, which was down at Chateau Tongariro.
Yep.
And I won the New Zealand championships, and I think I had a New Zealand record of 289.7, I think it was. It was in the newspaper.
Yep.
And the guy who was running the show at the time, Greg Howard, was like, "Look, you know, we've got world championships coming up. Obviously, you know, the winner of the open division, I pay for airfare, entry and stuff like that. But I think it'll be a good experience for you to go over and have a look. You might come top 10, top 15 if you're lucky, but it'll
Yeah.
be a great experience nonetheless. Why don't
Yeah.
you come out and try
Yeah.
it? You know?
Always.
And first thing my dad was like, no, nah, we're not going. And thankfully my mum was like, look, I did some research and she's hitting these numbers in meters, what these girls are hitting in yards. And that's further. So she might have a good chance. And my dad was like, nah. My mum was like, look, we're going. With or without you, we're going. So we got up to got to the decision of getting ready. And, my dad had played golf with Devon Noller at the time. Played with Devon Noller a few times, actually, at Chamberlain, just by accident, really. And my dad called him and said, hey, look, my girl's getting ready. Do you have any time to come and just give her a hand a little bit? And Dev was awesome. He was so good. He got me in touch with some manufacturers that he was kind of in contact with at that time. And, he got to preparing me for 2006 World Long Drive Championships. And we'll go to the range on like some of the busiest nights.
Yeah.
And we'll hit balls and we'll work on a few things, get a little bit more speed. When my clubs turned up, we had them put together by James Colligan, I think.
Oh,
and, yeah. So we got ourselves ready. But, there were some nights at the driving range where Dev would stop the whole driving range and he'll pull everybody off on one side and say, hey, look, just letting you know, like, this girl's getting ready for World Championships. She needs a bit of a crowd. So would you mind coming in to watch her hit, like, 2 sets of 6 golf balls under the time? And at the time, I had no idea what he was doing. I was like, this is so embarrassing. But he prepared me really well for the 06 Worlds. Yeah. When I got there, he had told me, like, when you get there, because he was there too, but so when you get there, there's a guy called Jason Zubak. I want you to take your bag, grab your tees, and tee it up right next to him on the driving range when we get to Casablanca. And I was like, really? And he was like, yep, go there, get comfortable being uncomfortable. And I had no idea who Jason was at the time. What was awesome, though, was after I won my first World Championship in 2006, Jason came up to me and asked me for my autograph. World champion. So, yeah, that was pretty awesome.
How good is that? What a story. Yeah. That's an awesome story, man.
Yeah, thanks for sharing, because that sheds so much light on your journey to achieve.
I'm just lucky I started off like really well.
Yeah.
I got to taste what it was like to be a winner really early. I think mentally I was prepared because of all the other sport that I played.
Yep.
They all transferred and helped me, get to being able to hit the ball well and do it under pressure. Which was awesome.
Did you find it really difficult to like play an individual sport, like totally just be you out there, or did you find it quite easy to transition into? This is just what golf is.
I don't have like that killer instinct to like, I got to hit it better, or I've got to get better at this. It's kind of like, I don't have a killer instinct. So when I won. But when I came second, in 07 and 08, it was kind of like, well, this doesn't feel good, but I don't know why.
Yeah.
I didn't really pay attention to the process.
Yeah.
And, you can talk about being process focused all the time, but if you don't know where your process leads to, then, you don't know how to break it down and get it better. So, maybe naive, young in the mind, and not being able to put 2 and 2 together. That's probably why I didn't win in 07 and 08, even though I had the longest balls in the competitions. So,
No, what I got out of that, though, is that it all started at Howick, so that's great.
And Formosa.
And Formosa.
But there was a big gap, right, between you winning your first and your second. So what happened in between that 10 years? Did you fall into something else, or what happened there?
There's a bit of controversy after the 2008 World Championships. The lady who I lost to, you know, is she's post-op transgendered. And you know, I mean, she won fair and square, but you know, ultimately that was mine to lose.
Yeah.
And so with that controversy came a whole bunch of other criticism on the sport, a lot of uncharted waters that we had gone through at that particular time.
Yep.
You know, if we fast forward to where we are today, like the conversation's still going, but we haven't gotten any better at it.
No.
Yeah.
Yep.
But you know, that started it for Long Drive, so that created a bit of controversy. And really, ultimately, like what I wanted to do and what my dad really wanted me to do was play golf on the tour. You know, man, if you can hit it this far, you can play the course way easier. It'll be a lot easier for you. But again, no killer instinct. So grasping the game for me at that time, it didn't sink in. So I went out and played on tour. I earned my card to play on the Aussie Ladies. It is a membership. It's a members tour.
Yep.
And you know, I just fought for 10 years to try and play tour golf. Practiced, trained, worked with some awesome coaches, worked with some not so awesome coaches, worked with trainers. It was just, I guess, on the hamster wheel going round and round. And in 2014, my dad was diagnosed with cancer, and I was still in between then, you know, in between going away and coming back, and I was still working at aviation at that time. So yeah, my dad got cancer, and 3.5 months later, he died. He passed away in 2015 in February. And so I was like, what am I gonna do? Like, the game's not the same without him. Don't really want to play anymore. I'm grieving. My nan lost her son. My aunties and uncles lost their eldest brother. My mum lost her husband. You know, my cousins lost their uncle. So I decided to stay home and work. And at that time too, you know, my boss at aviation was retiring, and you know, I put my hand up for the golf manager's job, which the board had put on the interim. Said yes. And you know, within a couple of months, the board gave me the job, and I went back to university to study. So in the 10 years, like, I just went on the grind and tried my best to, you know, catch something. Hopefully something stuck. And it just wasn't meant to be at that time. So it was okay. But in the scheme of things, if I look at like Lydia Ko or something, you know, really my golfing career was probably a failure. There are lots of things, like lots of good things that you can take out of it and stuff like that. But ultimately, if you think about yourself as a business, being a professional, you know, if your expenses outweigh your income, you're in a losing battle. And you know, that's basically what I was. And I was lucky, man, just really lucky to have awesome parents that supported me the whole way. My dad was like, look, man, if you don't have to work another day. If you can get this and hopefully something sticks, you know, you don't have to do anything. You just go out and play and make your money. It's not for everybody, and that's okay. I've come to peace with it, I guess. But yeah, I went back to study, and once I graduated in 2016 at AUT, it was time for my mum and I to go back out on holiday or have a bit of a break. And we went back to the 2016 World Long Drive Champs. How about that, eh?
The holiday? Just the holiday?
Oh, man.
Well, let's just go see. My mum was like, are you sure? You haven't even had balls. It's like, well, I've got 6 weeks to figure it out. The one thing that I did do, though, when I stopped playing was I kept fit, went to the gym, stayed with my trainer, and just kept fit. I was like, look, if working is important because I need to be home, staying fit is also important for the just in case. But it was like, if I choose to go back to golf, one thing that I'm not going to have to worry about is the physical aspect if I stay fit.
Good work.
We didn't plan on going back to World Championships, you know, but I was ready physically.
Yeah.
And all I had to do was just get some speed and find some drivers that were suitable. And yeah, I did. I was able to find a bit of speed on Mondays at the Grange. Nobody's at the Grange on Mondays. So I was able to work in the pro shop and hit in Jacques Bay out the back, when it was like dead.
Yeah.
And yeah, I just started grinding away for 6 weeks and got myself ready for 16 world champs and
Got yourself ready for winning 16 champs.
yeah. Well, I my mentality was different, At the time, it was like in 06, I was the person to beat.
Yeah.
This time here, it was like, well, let's make them work for their money.
Yeah.
Give yourself a good chance. But if you're gonna lose, you lose because they're better.
Yeah.
Not because you hit a bad set.
Yeah. Going back 10 years. Oh no, would it be 8 years? Would it be 8 year gap?
It was a 10-year. Oh yeah, it was an 8-year gap between.
About an 8 year, about an 8 year gap. Yeah. Going back 8 years later, was there any sort of who was she, or did everyone still know who you were as that young kid that came and dominated in 06? Like, what was the vibe with you going back 8 years later?
So all of the old hitters that were still in the sport, they remembered me. And I kind of kept in touch a little bit with some of the guys here and there.
Yep.
But yeah, a lot of it was who is she? Who's that?
Yeah.
And one of my friends, Lisa Vlooswork, Lisa Longball, she's awesome. She's
up in
Canadian.
Canada?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. She's super awesome. So when I first met her in 06, she was 6 months pregnant.
Damn.
And she was swinging around her boy. Her boy is now, how old, Luke? What's that? He's 15? He's 16. He turns 16 next month.
Damn.
Or at the end of this month. So, I've known her for a long time.
Yeah.
And then in the players meeting, a lot of the girls are like, who's that? Who's that? And I caught up with Lisa after finals in the casino, and she was like, there were so many people, and she says it's like that. She's called it disrespect, but I think it's lack of knowledge, right?
Yeah.
So she says, these people, like, they Googled you and it said nothing about you. They don't know who you are. It doesn't even matter. And Lisa just turned to the girls and was like, look, Phillis Meti is one of the longest female hitters I've ever seen. She's like, I've competed with her before. She's a great person. You'll be surprised at what happens this week. And funny that in my first set against Lisa, I lost. And I hit the shortest distance in the set in the group of 4 of us. And I walked through the gate. I walked through the tunnel. I was saying to my mom, like, are we even supposed to be here?
Yeah. What are we doing here?
If I can't win in this set, and with all due respect, Lisa is a good friend of mine, but I'm like, if I can't beat Lisa, then what the hell am I up to? This is 10 years down the track.
Yeah.
So I got a rude awakening, and I had to suck it up for the rest of the rounds. But it was a lot of like, oh, I don't know her. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
She doesn't even feature. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
There's no hype around her.
Yeah. I started following Lisa on Instagram because she used to be sponsored by Nike.
That's right.
Yeah, that's the reason I know Lisa, is because I was like, yo, you do long drive and you're sponsored by Nike. You have all these gears. You're amazing. So that's awesome, man.
How much had long drive evolved from your first world champs to the 2016? Like, had it evolved as much as what we see now with the product and especially the product, but ultimately how much had it changed, like once you turned up?
For what I know now, when I went back to world champs in 2016, it hadn't changed because in 2006 to 2008, and even before then, it was run by Art Salinger, and the major sponsor was Remax. And so they had awesome sponsors. They had awesome pro-ams and stuff like that. In 06, 07, and 08. It was huge. And it was kind of like walking through a PGA Tour event where you've got the stands, you've got the tunnel, you've got, all of the staff are all in uniform. It was really, really cool. So 2016 was a year that Golf Channel had taken over. They had bought the world's rights from Art Salinger and Salinger's Power Golf, I think the name of his company is. And so it really hadn't changed. But what I've learned over the last couple of years is that it went through a down phase and then it got sold and then it was on its way back up. And further up, the 17, 18, 19 years, all the seasons of 17, 18, and 19, it became a lot better. Still professional, but we had like a TV component to all of our events. So with the TV component, it gave all of us hitters an opportunity to capitalize on our exposure. So it was far better than what it was in probably 09, 10 and onwards, right up until recently.
So and that with Golf Channel coming on board, you got some publicity opportunities to go on Golf Channel, right? You were on with, I can't remember the Pommy dude, Martin.
Martin Roll.
Yeah.
Golf with Blair and Martin.
Yeah. How was that? Like, was that a completely different experience for you as well? Like, was that completely brand new, or have you done TV experiences before?
Up until 16 Worlds, 17 Worlds, that was the first time I'd done like TV.
Yeah.
And like for Golf Channel, because they have to run a network, right? NBC Universal, because they have to run a network. Golf Channel is just one of their many channels that they have. And the cool thing about Long Drive, in 17, 18, and 19, and even now, is that it gave Golf Channel content. So with the content too, then it gave us hitters an opportunity. Like, okay, so we're one of the hitters. If I win, is there a chance that I can get on to like Morning Drive, have a chat with Damon Hack, do some hitting or do some interviewing, and then I got offered an opportunity to do School of Golf with Martin Hall and Blair O'Neill. And then I also got to do one of the, like an opening Long Drive event at the Portland Classic in 2019, which was also like the week of World Championships. So the week of Worlds, I flew to Portland, did not even a day. I wasn't even there a whole day. I was there in the afternoon, stayed overnight, there in the afternoon, did the Long Drive event with Angel Yin and Van Dam, who were the two longest hitters on the tour. And then I had to go back to Worlds the next morning. I had to fly back to Oklahoma or Dallas the next morning to get ready for Worlds. So, when the opportunity comes, because there are so many people that want to be on TV, right? When the opportunity comes, or sometimes you have to kick your foot through the door to make an opportunity, then it's awesome. It's good fun. Conversations around the golf swing. There are so many different things, different methods, different ways, different teachings. But at the end of the day, the ball doesn't move and you still need to make contact, right? So I love having those kinds of conversations, especially with someone like Martin, who's been around for ages. He's got heaps of experience, even just to pick his mind and give him a glimpse of like my interpretation of why I swing the club the way I do. It's
the way he explains his methods is just so easy, and it's just easy to take in.
They're relatable, eh?
Yeah. And they have to be, eh?
Yeah.
100%.
Otherwise people turn you off.
No, exactly. And that point that you brought up about Golf Channel and Long Drive giving them content, like it was all over the place. Like you had Jamie Sadlowski, busting their projector. You had yourself on there. That's like all of that stuff's on YouTube. But what's happened? Do you know what's happened with? Because at the moment it's just live stream on YouTube. Well, that's that's what I've been watching lately.
COVID
Anyway,
happened. COVID happened. Like the amount of
Right.
manpower it takes
Yep.
for for the crew to be at an event,
Mm.
and then no crowds allowed. I mean, there are lots of ways in hindsight, obviously.
Yep.
There are lots of ways that we could have done it better, we could have done it differently and stuff like that. But Golf Channel moved from Orlando to Connecticut. Yeah, hitters weren't. I mean, it was really dangerous. Like on a political standpoint, it was really difficult to have events and tournaments where some of your best hitters were international. So, like for us girls, in the top 4, okay, there's myself, there's Chloe Garner from South Africa, there's Alex Sparson, she's local, she's American.
Yep.
But also Sandra Karlborg, 5-time world champion, 6-time world champion, right, from Sweden. And so from my standpoint, because we had a bit of a players board, I was like, or a committee, I was like, how can you have like a world event, or how can you secure our safety in in times of uncertainty? If you're just going to keep running events and hoping that more girls keep signing up, what you should do is have kind of like what they did on the PGA Tour. You have your top players playing in these events, and that's it. Now, if you Monday qualify and stuff like that, you've got to go through the process of negative COVID tests, making sure that you or quarantine, so on and so forth, and then then compete and have your staff and stuff like that up there. So it's hard, and we were traveling to different venues. We weren't hitting at the same place. We're all over the show, all over the country. So collecting the crew and putting cameras up and all that stuff, it takes a lot of work. So in terms of long drive content, it just wasn't financially feasible unless we had massive like sponsors.
Just looking at our time, I've just got one last question in regards to long drive. What's your thoughts on Bryson coming into the sport and what he brings to it?
It was actually really cool to watch the long drive event in Mesquite just on the weekend. It's kind of the first time where I've actually had the opportunity to turn it on the TV screen and watch it live. First time actually probably ever, which is for me it's a nice thing to be able to say. Usually I'm in front of the camera, so that's cool. I think what he did, especially for the men, is he connected like fast swingers of the golf club and elite golfers to the sport of long drive. Now, I mean, our long drivers know about that. We've got Rick Barry, who used to play in the NBA. He's like a 2-time senior champion. We've got, Justin James played professional baseball, and I think in the minor leagues. Tim Burke played major league. We've got lots of athletes that have transferred over to long drive, and they're extreme athletes. And not saying that Bryson isn't, because Bryson is. He's an extreme golfer. But what he's done is he's said, look, if you can swing it quick, come try. You got to come try this. And hopefully, in New Zealand, if we can get, like New Zealand Long Drive and New Zealand Long Blacks and IGANs and stuff like that, organizing events down here so that it gives more of our quicker club head speed swingers on the tee box to try. Maybe we'll have more Devon Nolas, more Baden YYs, more Phillis Metis coming through rather than, just having kind of one-offs, because there are quite a few of us long drivers that were actually well known and around the world for long drive. Hopefully we can create more depth and do the same thing. Be it also, the longest hitters at the moment are your biggest money earners on the tour. So it's no longer about being able to play shots like off the tee. It's now being able to cut the corner so that you've got wedge into a par 5 rather than, I don't know,
long iron 3-wood potentially.
3-wood potentially, 5-wood.
So have you like sort of moving away from that and sort of going to maybe like the traineeship and playing 18 holes, do you still stand up there and apply that same sort of like just hit it long and straight? And how much has your gear changed from long drive to 18 holes? Because I'm pretty sure everyone out there wants to know, man. Like,
so my driver is something that you can buy off the shelf, right? It's not
Yep.
anything that you can't find. It's
Yep.
literally online for $329 US, right? So my equipment hasn't really changed that much.
Yep.
I still use a driver that you can buy from the shop.
Yep.
I do have my own kind of shaft. It's a Japanese shaft, so I've got my Japanese shaft sponsor, Tour Edge Golf.
Yep.
Awesome clubs. One of the best well-known fairways and hybrids company.
Yep.
I've had a little bit to do with
especially on the Champion.
some of the
You would
stuff
know
that
that,
you
Dee.
use too.
Yeah.
Wicked.
And so, my clubs haven't really changed. I always get up on the tee to rip it.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah.
That's just me and my game. And
Yeah.
I think that for me, it's the most exciting part of the game. Like, I love making putts, but I really love bombing driver down past my friends.
Yeah.
Yes. It doesn't always happen, but when it does happen, it's good fun. And I really enjoy being able to put a good drive plus a good second shot with a good putt together still. That excites me still. So it means I still love the game of golf. I'm grateful that I get to utilize long drive in the game of golf still. It's nothing too different, but I do know that there are some guys that play on the tour. I mean, your Kyles. I know Maurice Allen uses like really low lofts, even with shorter clubs. They still use 4-3, sometimes 2 degrees on the golf course.
Wow.
Yep, which is hard. It's hard to hit those.
Yeah,
it's hard to hit them once, let alone in competition. But on the golf course with accuracy, that's hard. Why make it hard for yourself? And this is the whole club fitting thing, right? Why make it hard for yourself when you've got equipment and resources to make it easier? Speaking of Lisa, right? We're in the bathrooms at one of our events in Mesquite, actually.
Yep.
And this lady in the crowd comes in. She's using the bathroom too. And she's like, look, you ladies are awesome. Like, what kind of clubs do you use? And Lisa's all but like 5'1", 5'2", if she's lucky. And she says, well, looking up, she goes, well, I don't know about you, Phillis. And, I'm like way up there. She's way down here. She says, I don't know about you, but, my driver's like X-stiff, 48 inches, 5 degrees. What about you, Phillis? What do you use? And I said, well, I use a 10.5 degree driver with regular flex. And it's 46 3/4. So it's slightly longer than normal, but I like being able to hit a driver that I don't have to swing up on that hard. And that's the thing. Most of these girls, like fastest swinging hitter on the women's tour, right? Using a soft shaft plus more loft. Versus a lot of the girls, they're trying to get the crap underneath, the ball so that they can launch it up there, and they're using 5 degree drivers. Pull out something that's got 9 degrees. You don't have to work that hard. Just swing quick. Well,
Oh
no way! Actually, that was really interesting insight. That you're applying the tool to the trade where everybody else is trying to do the opposite, right? That's such a good insight.
Well, now look at what Carl Berkshire uses, right?
Oh.
It's like he's almost using like a fire hose. It's so soft, but his swing dynamics are so solid. So he's able to swing it in a manner that he can repeat, and he can make use of the load on the shaft. And when you load the shaft, then it works for you. You can get more distance, and that's how you become more efficient.
All right. We're at 50 minutes, and I just want to touch on this one thing. Your Queen's birthday honors. Was this a surprise?
It was to me.
Yeah.
Yep. It was to me. Yep. So I got nominated by Ona Ford from IGANS, International Golf Associates New Zealand. Now, I mean, there's lots of things going out about IANs and stuff like that, but the fact of the matter is she brought long drive back to New Zealand, and she brought international hitters over here as a spectacle, made it professional again. She put up, one of the most expensive purses in an event ever in the whole history of long drive. And really, like, she's the one that deserves like a Queen's medal, really, for bringing the sport back. But the cool thing is, so she nominated me, and from all of my research, 16 other people put petition letters in there for me to receive this honor. And it is an honor. When I found out about it, when I received it, I didn't really know what it meant.
Yep.
But those last 4 letters, they go at the end of my name for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
And that just kind of drives me to want to do more for our sport. Like, I feel like I'm only scratching the top of it.
So
and
good.
If we can inspire more of our kids, more adults to get their kids involved in the game, whether it's golf, whether it's long drive, anything to do with swinging a golf club, right? And all of the health benefits that we get from playing the game, fresh air, active, all of the cool things that we get out of it, the benefits of the game far outweigh the crap that goes on, from behind the scenes.
Yeah.
And hopefully, if we can keep shining the light on those benefits, then we could get to grow the game.
Yeah.
We get to be more self-sufficient again. And we keep our players, and we keep getting more.
Yeah. Well, you sort of answered my next question. Your goals for the game.
My goals for the game.
Like,
my own game or for the actual game?
Doing what you're doing. Why are you doing what you're doing? You've pretty much just answered it.
No.
Yeah. Oh, hey, look.
Yeah.
I mean, I think as Polynesian, Māori Polynesian, right?
Yeah.
Māori and Polynesian. As a Polynesian, we tend to have the gene to look after each other, and we work together to make things better.
Yeah.
And if I was to be frank and critical about New Zealand golf right now, we haven't really had the opportunity to foster that, where we can look after each other and create more growth and create inspiration and look after our own.
100%.
We just haven't done it. And whether it's a generational thing, the people before us that came in, like we accept, and we are grateful for them bringing us in, but it's time for us kind of to pull the reins in and say, hey, look, this is how we can do it better and go in a different direction. So, for me, it's just being able to open up pathways. I know that we've had lots of conversations, behind the scenes for us on what we want to achieve. But it is for me to create more pathways. And I know for you guys, it's creating access, which is why you're where you are. And hopefully, with access comes pathways, and pathways leads to different pathways and more directions and more growth.
More avenues for our people to take go wherever they want with the game, because there's so many other pathways gates that open up for you within the world of golf. So
and it is and to feel okay with that. Feeling okay and feeling like they've got some support. Far out, there are so many things that you do kind of forge ahead, and then you look back and say, oh, come forge ahead again, come. It's been hard. My journey's been a little bit difficult. I'm lucky to come across the people that did, but it's been difficult because it's uncharted.
Well, that's the big thing here, and I think golfers very privileged, and to have somebody like you share not only, I guess, your brand, but all the knowledge and passion that you're going to provide the game. I think it's really exciting, and it's without getting too deep, like it is a real privilege to have you here in our space, because I think I don't think you realize just how much you influence, but more of you would be such a blessing for the game. So I'm really excited to see where we can go. You know, and certainly, you know, support you as much as we can, because I think it's super exciting.
Yep.
So
100%.
Thank you. No, it's fun. Yeah, I appreciate that. It's it is fun. It is hard, but you know, this is a cool thing about having you guys, you know, coming through the traineeship.
Yep. Hopefully.
Hopefully. And you know, have more people coming after us to do the traineeship again.
Yeah.
No.
Hopefully that's going to create more growth.
Sweet. All right, I want to end this on one last question, sis. We have a couple of mutual friends. We have Steve. There's Callum. Who's longer? I'm going to eliminate Callum right now, because I can get him. He's all good. You and
Do
Steve.
we really have to answer this?
Yes.
Between me and Steve.
Between you and Steve, who is longer?
It's pretty even, but he's pretty strong. I think
No need
I
to be
am.
nice. Yeah. That's all I wanted to hear.
He's going to kill me, but I think I am.
No. You know what? There's nothing going. There's nothing wrong going down to a world champ.
No, man.
Nothing wrong at all.
No, the broken smack the ball though. The broken smack the ball. He is definitely long. I just wanted to hear you say it.
Yeah, but so can you.
Really but we get each other. Like it's always even Stevens really between the two of us. It's hard to say who's longer than who. I think I swing it faster than him.
Yes. Oh, you've got to own that. Thank you so much. Hey, actually, just real quickly before we do start to wrap up, what's in your bag? Like, can we just have a bit of an insight as to, you know, from pretty much driver to putter, just a debrief on what's actually in your bag?
Oh yeah.
Because
so currently I have it's Tourage are my sponsors.
Yes.
I have the Exotics C723 or 321 driver, I think, in my bag. It sits at 7.5 degrees. I have a 2-iron. I've got a 2-iron and a 3-iron and high, like driving iron style.
Yep.
Both by Tourage. So some of I think they're the CBX ironwoods.
Yeah.
And then I've got the CBX irons over here in New Zealand. I've got the CBX irons. In America, I've got the EXS blades.
Wow.
The shafts that I carry are the Project X LZs. Over here, I've got 5.5s. In America, they're 6.0s in graphite, which is good fun, really good fun. And then my wedges at the moment in New Zealand, I've got Cleveland zip core wedges. They're pretty cool. They're all in low bounce. So low bounce for my sand wedge and my lob wedge. People don't understand how important bounce is.
Yeah.
No one in New Zealand should have, or no one in Auckland especially should have any business running bounce on their wedges anything higher than 10 degrees, period. We just don't have the surface for it. Yeah. And I have a Scotty Cameron dual balance putter.
Nice.
Studio dual balance putter, yeah.
But a shout out to Tourage. I like it.
Shout out to Tourage. And Volvic.
Yeah.
And you play a Volvic ball?
I do.
Yep.
I do. I play the Volvic S4. Yep.
Me?
Yep. Green color. Funny that, eh?
Nice.
So you can see it far better than the yellow, the orange, and the pink. So, yeah, the green ball.
No. Mint. Sweet.
Nice. Thanks for sharing that.
Thanks for sharing that. Is there anything else that you wanted to kind of wrap up on, Phillis?
No, not really. Just a shout out to you guys, man. thanks for sharing the industry.
No.
And
thank you.
you know what you, I think
This
what
is
you
how
guys
much
are
we
doing
love
is, yeah,
Yeah.
and how much you guys are wanting to get involved and get your feet wet, basically,
Yeah.
with the industry, not just like from a podcast perspective,
Yeah.
but within the industry as a facilitator, and what you guys do for a day job. It's awesome.
Thank you.
Long may it continue.
Yeah. Now, I look forward to when we can all kind of get out and mix up and actually sit down together face to face and go over a few things to help progress everything that you kind of talked about. So, Phillis Meti, thank you very much for joining us on Caddy Bach, and we'll catch you real soon, sis. We'll catch you real soon.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
Appreciate you too. Thank you so much.
Bro,
Woo.
awesome chat. Those stories, I didn't want to say it, but I got chicken skin, bro.
Same, bro. Same. And that's why I had to venture out into that let's take it deep space.
Yeah.
Super grateful and a privilege, bro, to have Phillis join us and share, some goals. I mean, it's one thing to be passionate about something, but it's another to go out there and chase it. So massively inspired. And just grateful that she gave us her time today, bro. It was awesome.
No,
it was awesome.
It's a privilege to be in one of those circles with her, so that we can, like we talked about, progress and open up pathways for our people within the game, so that they can choose their own destinies, whether higher education, 100%. Professional sport, or there's just so many avenues. Look where we are,
Well, that's the thing. Yeah, absolutely. And like I touched on, the game, New Zealand PGA is, in a really healthy space, having Phillis on board. So I'm super stoked, bro. Like it just gives us more point and purpose to, why we love the game and why we want to share it. It's so exciting.
Yep, and we'll share more next week. I haven't got a guest lined up yet. I think you may have someone.
There's a couple. I'm probably more excited about. Well, I'm equally as excited about our next guest. But man, how would the 4-ball be with Phillis and Steve, bro? To watch that go down off the tee.
I find that quite entertaining, actually.
So I just had to put that in there, but I'm kind of looking forward to that.
I can't wait for him to hear this.
I'm psyched on it, and there's some good promo there, bro.
No, definitely. Sweet. I think that's us, bro. We'll catch everyone who's listening on Spotify and anyone who's watching us on Facebook or YouTube. We'll catch you next time. Hopefully there is some non-bubble golf going on. And if you can, happy golfing.